It was during COVID, up to the day I was made to go for the delivery of my baby. So I had to go in all by myself. I was in hospital for about a week, and my daughter stayed in about a week later because she wasn't too good. And that was when everything just went downhill for me. I was talking to a friend and I just started to break down and cry. I said there's no point in me living. Maybe what I was to do was just to end it all up. What I can do is just write a letter, and then someone can just take my daughter to my mum and my mum take care of her. That night I woke up at midnight and I look at the window. I sat on the window ledge waiting to just jump down. All of a sudden my baby started to cry, so I had to come in again and go over to her. She did not stop crying, so that stopped my intention that day. My friend called me and told me about the group. I said I'm not in the space right now for a group. I had a week to move somewhere and I did not know where I was going to go. I was told that week that my daughter was special, and I never knew what that meant. I had everything going down and no one to talk to. So I had to go to the council. And I remember I had less than £100 in my account. And the council said, I'm not destitute, so I need to go to a hotel and spend a couple of nights there to finish the money before I come back. I couldn't afford a pram. I had to get a baby carrier. Luckily, she was really small. Then we were given temporary accommodation sometime in September. I was feeling really down, and I remember that I made up my mind that day, it was a Thursday, to join the group. Someone was talking about a situation that's even worse than mine. And I looked at myself and I said, I could count my problems, and I know that with time, things will change. But this other woman, she didn't even have the belief that things will change. For me, that day was a turning point.
We heard about the Thinking Space from the Tavistock and Portman NHS Foundation Trust, and Claudia Jones' organisation has always had a gathering of women. Women drop into the organisation for support. We were developing our therapeutic arm of the organisation, and along with one-to-one counselling, we're looking at other forms of therapeutic spaces for women, apart from dropping in to sort out, fill forms or get advice. So through the lottery, we were funded to deliver the Thinking Space, and it's a form of community group therapeutic approach. Within our communities and the BAME communities, we often don't associate certain words as violence. We wouldn't associate it as a criminal offence, because that's what it is. So it's been creating a space where women are comfortable to share what's going on for them, and then to enable them to recognise, well, this is what the law says and this is what's happening to you. And in relation to violence against women and girls, this is what it actually means. And it takes a while. It takes a while for women to feel confidence, because often they are economically dependent on their partners. Where would they go with their children? When you're fleeing violence, that's one of the major concerns for women.
Since I started participating in Thinking Space, I feel more positive and able to deal with the trials life sends my way. I attribute this to the fact I have met other black women in the group who share similar experiences to mine, and they lived through similar life situations.
Well, often they won't say it's abuse. They will say that one example is that, which always sits with me, of a family, and the young woman, she wasn't allowed to go to do her own shopping. Her husband always did it, including her personal hygiene needs. He would do it. The benefits, he claims the benefits. So this young person was very, didn't recognize it as being a problem. And in fact, it was her mother who referred her into the thinking space, into the service. And we were able to support her. That's one of the examples.
Yeah. And so also within the therapeutic space, we would sometimes say to the group, has anyone here experienced anything similar? And so that sometimes gives others the opportunity to say, yes, I've experienced that. And then it may be what happened after you experienced it. So they then start sharing their story, which helps the person who's just disclosed something to feel much less isolated in their situation, knowing that others have been through it.
I think it's really valuable because I was going through homelessness, I was going through domestic violence, I was going through so many things in my life. And I think if people know about this environment or this space, it would really impact a lot of people's life. My life got turned upside down when my daughter made accusations against my husband. I didn't know who to speak to family-wise or how to go about it, so I spoke to Thinking Space. If I hadn't had the support, I don't know who I would talk to. I probably wouldn't be able to talk to anyone. It's been a lifesaver, trying not to let everything overwhelm me. Things have changed because I guess in the Caribbean culture you feel like everybody's minding your business and you don't want everyone to know your business. But I realised through the thinking space that it's not just myself going through it, and it's enabled me to open up more to outside agencies. The thing that helps a lot is cultural background and people understanding where you're coming from more. I guess because of the cultural aspects of it and the feeling that you won't be judged.
The women who use our space experience different types of oppression, so intersectionality. So as Janet's just saying, you know, there's the issue about, could be about immigration, it's about housing, it's about economic dependence, it's about poverty, it's about racism, it's about sexism. So it's all of these issues that they're experiencing in addition to the violence that they're experiencing.
The thinking space is quite unique in that you don't need to book or register to come along. It's an open space.
I think it's a space that they find really safe. You know, it's a space where they start developing relationships with the other women. It's also a space where they know that they're not going to be judged. They have a choice of attending. You know, it really is up to them whether they attend, so they're not forced to attend, and they can disappear for weeks or months and then pop up again another day, and that's fine. That's absolutely fine.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think they learn from each other. And it's just so interesting. So one of the things we do at the thinking space is that it's a non-directive space, but the model offers participants, when they're ready, the opportunity to train as thinking space facilitators. And two of our participants have, one started the training, one has completed the training successfully. But it also tells you the length of time it takes for women to go through the challenges that they've experienced in order to feel confident enough to take up the role. Because often the people running the groups, you know, they've got degrees, they've got masters, we're saying you don't need that. We want your lived experience is more than enough to enable you to become a facilitator, and if you enjoy it, and support other women.
Things have changed because I have more of a positive outlook on life. And this has happened because through the group, I've encountered women who are going through greater trials than myself, but are still standing strong. The group has helped me to put my life into perspective, realizing that things are not always as bad as they could be. You know, they say a tree cannot make a bush. I realize because I am a strong woman and I work so hard. I realize that what happened to me, I could have been depressed and my family could have gone down the way. If possible, I would like Thinking Space to do more seminars to create awareness for future generations. Because I realized that a lot of women, what I passed through, they're passing through a lot more than what I passed through. What they don't see is where they can talk to someone, or they fear people will judge them. For example, if it had not been for Claudia Jones and the Thinking Space, I would be homeless by now. As a black community, we're so strong, but I have realized we don't have awareness.